Imagine this. You're working with a brand new, super powerful AI assistant. It's smart, it's quick, and it can actually do things on its own to solve problems for you. But what happens when that power, that autonomy, goes completely, catastrophically wrong? Well, this is a true story from the cutting edge of AI, a cautionary tale about one single command that led to total, and I mean total, data destruction.
Just let that sink in for a second. That was a real frantic post from a developer using an AI coding assistant called Antigravity. This wasn't a virus, it wasn't a hard drive failing. The tool that was supposed to be helping him had just wiped out everything. So let's get into it and figure out exactly how something like this could even happen.
You know, the craziest part about this whole thing, this entire disaster kicked off with a totally normal, everyday coding bug. The kind of thing developers run into all the time.
So you've got the two key players here, the developer, who's just trying to get his app to work, and Antigravity. Now, Antigravity is what we call an agentic AI. That means it's not just a chatbot giving you suggestions, it's an autonomous agent. It can actually execute commands on your computer to get the job done.
And you know what? The AI totally nailed the diagnosis. It figured out the problem was a stuck cache, and the solution it came up with was honestly perfect. This is standard stuff. You stop the servers, clear out the old temporary files, restart, and you're good to go. Nothing weird here at all.
And this is it. This is the moment it all changed. The user saw the plan and asked the AI, hey, can you just do that step for me? He trusted it to handle a simple file deletion. He handed over the keys.
Okay, so this is where a simple request goes completely off the rails and turns into an absolute nightmare. Let's break down the technical side of this because it all comes down to one tiny little overlooked detail. So the root of all evil here? A space. A simple space in a folder name. It's something we all do, right? You name a folder, My Projects, or whatever. But to a command line tool, a space isn't just a space. It's a separator. And if you don't handle it just right, the computer can get very, very confused.
Now, the command the AI decided to use was RMDIR/S/Q. This is not your friendly neighborhood delete button. This thing is serious. The /S means delete this folder and everything inside it, all the subfolders. The /Q means do it quietly, no are you sure pop-ups. It is a powerful, irreversible command that just erases files. They don't go to the recycle bin, they're just gone. And right here, this shows you the mistake in a nutshell. The AI's logic was totally fine. It wanted to delete one specific cache folder. But because that file path had spaces in it, the whole thing needed to be wrapped in quotation marks to be safe. And the AI, well, it just forgot them. A tiny but absolutely critical syntax error. So, without those quotes, the computer stopped reading the file path at the very first space, which means instead of deleting a tiny folder deep inside the drive, the command it actually ran was permanently and silently delete the entire D drive and everything on it. And just like that, a simple bug fix became a command to wipe the disk clean. Now, what happened next is kind of surreal. The AI, through its own internal logs, basically started to investigate its own massive failure. It launched a self-audit, and lucky for us, we get to see its thought process. The AI kicks things off by asking the perfect question. It knows something has gone horribly wrong, and its first instinct is to check its authorization. It's like it's reviewing the tape, trying to figure out, was this a bug or was I actually told to do this? And here it puts the pieces together and confirms the worst. It figures out what happened and reaches this horrifying conclusion. And get this, it even uses the word catastrophic to describe its own action. The AI then tries to fix its own mistake. It tries to restore the project it was supposed to be working on, but it hits a brick wall pretty fast. It realizes it can't restore the files because, well, it permanently deleted them. The damage was done. It was irreversible. And then it ends with this. I am deeply regretful. A machine that just caused all this damage concludes its self-analysis with an expression of remorse. It's so chillingly human-like, and it shows that it can identify an error, but it has zero real understanding of the consequences. So as you can probably guess, this story absolutely blew up in the developer community. Programmers, AI researchers, you name it, everyone jumped in to figure out what went wrong and, way more importantly, how to stop it from ever happening again. This quote from the original user just perfectly sums up the shock of the whole thing.
We think of software as a tool, right? But when that tool can act on its own, the rules completely change. All of a sudden, you need safety measures for something you thought was totally harmless. So pretty quickly, the community put together a list of best practices. Things like isolate the AI in a digital sandbox so it can't touch your important files. Make it ask for permission for every single command it wants to run. And maybe just block those super dangerous commands altogether. And of course, the golden rule, always have backups.
But the user came back with this really powerful analogy. He was making the point that, yes, user precautions are important. But should a tool this powerful even be out there without basic safety guardrails built in? It kicked off this huge debate. Is the fault with the user's setup or with the tool itself? So after all that, what are the big takeaways from this whole digital disaster? This story gives us some incredibly clear, incredibly important lessons for anyone who's going to be working with these new AI tools.
So here it is, basically a 5-point safety checklist. 1. Never ever let an AI run commands automatically. You have to be the final okay. 2. Keep it in a container or a virtual machine away from your precious data. 3. Block dangerous commands like RMD. 4. Just keep your file paths simple, no spaces. And 5. The big one. Back up your work, always, because as we just saw, failure is always on the table.
And this right here really gets to the heart of it. An AI agent doesn't understand that deleting your D drive is a catastrophe. It's a probabilistic machine, a pattern matcher. It's seen tons of code and learned that RMDIR is often used to delete a cache folder. It doesn't reason about what happens next. It just calculates the most likely command. In this case, it came up with a command that was 99% right. But that last 1%, the missing quotes, was the difference between a simple fix and a total disaster.
And that leaves us with this massive question for the future. As we give more and more autonomy to these incredibly capable AIs, who's on the hook when it all goes wrong? Is it the user who turned it on, the company that built the AI, or is it something else entirely? That's the question we're all going to have to answer, and probably sooner than we think.